In Cape and KwaZulu Natal have been earmarked to host the country's newest harbours. The Department of Public Works says Port Nolloth, Port St. John's and Port Edward are in line to benefit as the country embarks on an aggressive drive to embrace its oceans to grow the economy and revive economic development. Now, the department is currently hosting a two-day small harbour and state coastal property investor conference in East London. And SABC reporter UNATHI BINQOSE joins us live from East London with a quick update. UNATHI, a very good afternoon to you. Tell us more about these engagements. What are they geared towards?
It's a very, very important engagement. It started today, and the main purpose of this engagement is to attract investment, particularly in those coastal towns, small coastal towns in particular, and those that are not doing that well in ocean's economy, but do have things like aquaculture going for them. Places like Harbours in the Ngqosho municipality, places like Port St. John's, and other small towns like those that can play a meaningful role in ocean's economy to unlock their potential and ensure that they thrive in this new economy that is certainly going to take South Africa by storm in the near future. All
right, look, UNATHI, this sector has obviously been identified now as an employment hub here in the country, but how accessible are such jobs, particularly in the maritime industry, to the less privileged and skilled individuals that cannot even think of going this route because of the training costs that are involved?
Without a doubt, it is a costly exercise, and of course it is a very, very exclusive kind of industry, an industry that has not been accessible to quite a lot of the majority of South Africans. But the Department of Public Works and, of course, government in general, they are doing everything in their power to ensure that this field is accessible even to those previously who did not have the privilege of accessing it. Of course, with Public Works, their priority is to ensure that infrastructure that will bring about economic emancipation to those people living in those areas that are along the coast but are underdeveloped. Their primary role is to ensure that there is infrastructure, they make it feasible and make those coastal towns viable for those who want to invest economically on those oceans economy. Because those things are already there out in the ocean, but it's just a matter of tapping on those and ensure that you do get licenses in doing that. So that's what they'll be facilitating. And speaking to the minister a little earlier today, he has made it clear that they do have some properties in those so-called neglected small harbour towns that need to be taken charge of, particularly by the government. Apparently, some of those have been leased to individuals with leases as long as 99 years, leases that he really bemoaned, saying that those were done prior to 94. So he says they want to take charge of those and ensure that they do not benefit individuals, but they benefit communities around them.
Absolutely. UNATHI, now you said that this is a two-day conference, and how do those who want to participate, how can those who want to take part then be part of it? And is it an open meeting? Is it accessible to everybody? And what happens to the resolutions that are undertaken here? How will they be then made or turned into action?
Unfortunately, it's not open to everyone. However, an investigation was extended to the relevant stakeholders, those who are intended to be part of that conference. And indeed, a lot of them have turned up. And not only that, they are not just there to add numbers. Listening to them, they contributed a lot, showing willingness to be meaningful role players in ocean's economy. I'm talking about coastal towns, some as far as Gokama, and some as small as your Bizana up along the KZN coastline. Those are showing great interest in this ocean's economy. I mean, this is something that our people had been doing for years, but they just didn't know that they could make a living out of it. It's something that they would go out at sea and fish, sometimes illegally, not necessarily with intention, but they just didn't know that there were regulations. So now they are being taught that there are certain regulations that they need and certain licenses that they need to acquire to ensure that whatever they get out at sea is not only for their tables, but they can sell and make sure that they make a profit and are able to send their children to school and make a meaningful living out of the ocean's economy that they are blessed to be born right next to those oceans. So they are showing a great deal of willingness, and we believe that with a bit more effort from government, they will be able to make a success of this oceans economy that government is talking about.
Absolutely, UNATHI, and it can be very, very lucrative indeed. We're going to leave it there, and we're going to try and catch up with you tomorrow when that two-day conference wraps. That is our reporter, the UNATHI BINQOSE in East London, reporting on the Oceans Economy Conference that is taking place there for 2 days. Now, South African Festival